What is going on, Nuggets Nation, NBA fans? My name is Tom Leuthner. Welcome back to Nuggets Today, presented by Fan Arch. We do have some things to cover for you guys today, and that first topic I want to cover is not something that's really news, but more something that I'm interested to cover because I don't know how this is really going to work out for Denver, and that is the takeover of David Adelman. Now, we know that David Adelman is very adamant about his rotation being guys who work for their spots rather than people who come in and play, whereas Mike Malone was more of, if I like you and I think that you're going to play, you're going to come in and get your minutes. So I am interested to see if maybe there is a situation where David Adelman plays Hunter Tyson and Zeke Naji in the beginning of the season. Now, there's multiple different situations you could think of where they would be playing. The first situation is maybe Adelman working with the front office to go ahead and boost their trade value to maybe put them on the trade block early in the season so people think that they're rotational pieces. And I think that a guy like Tyson might be able to thrive next to a guy like Jokic if he's going to be a spot-up shooter and hit his shots efficiently enough. Maybe we see a world where that happens and you're able to trade him for a cheaper vet that'll help you guys win a finals, and he actually doesn't end up being as good as people think he is because Jokic can do that for other players. The second situation is a possibility of maybe pushing Deron Holmes more than what he is right now, and that is, like I said, Adelman's very adamant of you are going to earn your minutes. So maybe David Adelman starts the season with, okay, you know what, Deron, you're going to be under Zeke Naji on the depth chart, and we're going to play Zeke Naji, and you're going to have to earn your minutes. And maybe we only see that for a week, if we even see that, just to see if, lights a fire under Deron Holmes more than there is now. He's obviously fighting for minutes anyway, with Watson at the 4, with Cam at the 4, with Val, Jokic. So maybe we see a world where, and Denver Sports actually covered it on their podcast the other day. Maybe you see a world where they do that strictly to force a fire or light a fire under Deron Holmes to get him to work even harder. And the last situation I see this maybe happening is the beginning of the season to see if they are good enough and they can crack a, late rotational spot, and David Adelman checks it out. And I think Adelman said in the beginning, in his first presser, that he is going to play 10 guys, and he is going to see how they work together and how they work in general in order for them to earn their minutes rather than just playing them. So maybe we see Tyson and Naji get a couple minutes early in the first couple weeks of the season just to see if they're actually able to play, and maybe they work in the actual depth of Denver this year with the amount of guys they have that can actually play. Now, like I said, Denver has a lot of depth, and that should lead to a pretty high power ranking spot in general. So The Athletic has made their early power rankings, which obviously isn't, going to be set and glued down now because there is still a lot of free agency left and a lot of good free agent names out there that obviously contenders will probably sign. Maybe teams that think they could break a play-in spot will go ahead and sign in order to help them get to where they want to be at. But I was pretty shocked at the rankings that they had. Now, they posted the rankings, and I saw it on X, and, obviously there was a conversation going around in the groups that I'm in on X and on Instagram, and their official power rankings are the Oklahoma City at 1, which does make sense to me because, again, they are coming off the championship. The New York Knicks at 2, which jumps them a spot. The Cavaliers at 3. The Timberwolves at 4. The Nuggets at 5, the Rockets at 6, the Clippers at 7, the Magic at 8, and the Warriors at 9. Now, some things for me to look at, and the Knicks at 2 sort of shocks me. I know they're a very good team, and their addition of Yabu and Clarkson are actually huge pickups for them. I'm interested to see what Mike Brown can actually do for them. But do I think they're the second best team? No, I think they were a team that couldn't get by the Pacers last year, and I know the Pacers lost a bunch of guys, but I think the Cavs are up there if the Cavs are healthy. But I also don't know if the Timberwolves are the second Western Conference team out there. I understand the Thunder, but I also have been saying for weeks the Rockets might be better than every Western Conference team, especially after getting Josh Okogie. Now, the Nuggets should be up there. They have the depth that we haven't seen. The Timberwolves up there surprises me, and I know they have another Western Conference Finals appearance this year, but if they played against Denver, they were getting eliminated. They haven't seen this Denver depth in a while, and the last time they did, they were a better team and lost to the Nuggets in the playoffs for the Nuggets to go ahead and win a finals. So, and this depth is better than what we had on our championship roster. So I'm very shocked to see that the Timberwolves are at 4 over a team like the Nuggets and over a team like the Rockets and over a team like the Clippers. Now, another team, the Magic, I know they're top 10, and even the Golden State at 9, I think should probably be under the Detroit Pistons, in my opinion. Golden State's a good team, but they were playing. The Pistons actually gave the Knicks a run for their money until Malik Beasley ended up betting and sort of throwing the games away for them. But I'm just kidding. But yeah, I don't agree with the Nuggets being that low, especially with the depth that they got, and being under the Timberwolves sort of shocks me. Now, the next topic I want to jump into is obviously the depth of Denver, and that is Christian Brown being a different animal this upcoming year. Now, I was rewatching some of the highlights from the top dunks of the Denver Nuggets season for this past year that they had posted on YouTube, and it really made me forget how much of a beast Christian Brown is when it comes to driving and throwing it down on people. Now, we obviously saw it throughout the years, and we saw it a lot this year. That's why there was a lot of highlights, but when you think of what Brown was doing this year, he was almost a 40% three-point shooter. He was a guy that Denver was looking to score from all cylinders, and I don't mind that. But the additions of Cam, Tim Hardaway, Bruce Brown, Strother maybe taking a jump and a bigger role, you don't have to fully rely on Christian Brown being a 40% three-point shooter. Would I appreciate if he could be? Of course I would. I think any Denver fan would be. But if you look at his rookie year, which was obviously a smaller sample size because his role was a lot smaller, but they won a championship that year. He was taking about a little over 1-3 again, shooting 35% from the three-point line. But I also wouldn't mind seeing him get back to the 1.5 three-pointers per game, shooting around the 36 to 38% mark, not having to be a strictly spot-up shooter who can dunk, but maybe putting more effort into his defensive game to be a lockdown in the starting five, which KCP was when he was there, and not having to be a 3-and-D guy, but rather be a defensive athletic freak who can actually shoot the ball, who can be a force on all cylinders. Like I said, Cam may be taking more shots, Timmy may be taking more shots, obviously AJ's still there, Jokic is there, Jamal's there. There's a lot of mouths to feed on the offensive side of the ball, but maybe that helps Christian Brown go ahead, not learn defense because he's obviously a good defender, but maybe stack up on that defense and continue shooting threes, just not as heavily. But I am excited to see what Christian Brown is able to do. He is on a contract extension year, so maybe we do see Brown become a different animal that shoots 40% from the three-point line, but is also going and dunking on people still and being maybe the best defender or second best defender after Aaron Gordon in that starting five. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is all rumors, and I've seen so many rumors and thoughts escalating about LeBron James coming to Denver because he was hanging out with Jokic's agent, and I'm not reading too much into it. First of all, I wouldn't do it this year because unless he's bought out, because the trade package for him would be way too much because of his contract, and I don't think Denver should even target him until next year when he's a free agent if he doesn't want to retire. I don't think it makes sense. Unless he's bought out and Denver's waiting for him for that last roster spot and they know something we don't. I don't think it makes too much sense, and personally, I wouldn't do it right away. I would wait until he's a free agent if he does want to take a smaller contract like the mid-level exception, which LeBron would never do, or a vet minimum in order to come and play with Jokic. Like I said, I'm not reading too much into it, and I'm honestly hoping Denver doesn't trade for him because I think that you would have to give up way too much. The Lakers would ask for way too much, and if you give more to the Lakers around Luka Doncic, I think you're in a pretty bad spot right there with, an old LeBron and Jokic against Luka and a very good team of role players and maybe semi-star talents, because that's what you're going to have to give up for LeBron. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys today, Nuggets Nation. Make sure to leave a like, comment, if you want me to cover something. Hit that subscribe button if you have not, and I will catch you guys tomorrow.